if you are expecting Asks the Savior, between Morgan, Tonelico, whatever you want to call them, if you're expecting them to be a Black Grail Looper that completely demolishes Kucaster, you are looking for the wrong servant. I'm gonna preface this now. Yes. Dang. Chat, I don't even. What is this? There we go. I need to preface this now. As long as you are not using Black Grail, meaning you are using a 50% CE, or as long as Kucaster is not MP5, Tonelico is probably going to be your best option for a buster farming caster. Their kit has a lot of awkwardness, but at the same time, it's planned awkwardness. Because having this servant with some of the restrictions gone, third skill, yeah, some of the cooldown stuff is just an issue. But at the same time, if she did not have these things in her kit, she would probably be up there with Melusin and Tiamat for how effective a farmer she would actually be. They literally had to gimp this servant to make sure it did not actually break the game. She literally has so much in her kit to make her anti-assassin, anti-evil, that stacking up even more MP damage than and battery than she has access to, she would just completely she would just be a harder hitting Kucaster. She would literally just be a straight up upgrade from Kucaster in every single way. They didn't want to do that. I know a lot of people are disappointed because she is supposed to be the anniversary servant. She's the summer servant in disguise. But at the same time, I hope everyone remembers summer last year, where like pretty much every single 5-star was almost must summon, including Arcueid, even though they gave us so many quartz. The reason they gave us that many quartz in the first place was because of how disgustingly good the banners were. Like Summer Buki was the strongest arts looper we've ever gotten. Summer Scotty changed the meta, not a whole lot, but she changed it. Arcueid, ground baking servant, unfortunately very similar situation to Tonelico, in which her cooldowns balanced her out and stopped her from being broken. I personally do not have the same opinion of other people, but my original version of this video completely did not portray this servant's kit correctly. So let me go back and do this again. I know it's late, but I do need to pad out. I'm not gonna lie, I do need to pad out the upload, so I'm not gonna spend multiple days without any uploads whatsoever. More likely than not, once my friend leaves my apartment tomorrow, I'm just gonna be working on videos, having everything ready to go. So, first off, appearance. I love this design. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of me being okay with the servant performing the way it does is mostly because it's Morgan. They feared Morgan's power in game, and they made her weaker, but her designs are still amazing. I love the long-haired braid. She looks like a stereotypical witch. For Britomart, that her looking like a typical elf didn't help her. I think this design is great. And then she just starts getting more specifically Castoria, or not Castoria, more specifically Morgan. Changing Ascension on here changes her eyes, makes her more Morgan-like, even though she looks like Castoria. And then Morgan looking like this. I know Miss was losing his mind about this part. I saw his video. Base attack. Higher than average for a caster. Like, casters are not this high, but still a caster. Damage is gonna be lower, negative modifier. But she's still at the top for casters. HP lower, actually really low, but you want it. You do not want Morgan having too much attack. It is a legitimate thing you can do in which you do not give her HP foes. I personally am not doing that. It's just out of preface. I want her to be stronger, and I'm not going to purposely make her weaker, even if it does fit her skills better. But me personally, I'd rather. It's a pet peeve. It is a pet peeve seeing servants not have their foes. MP charge 0.62% with this deck. 2 hits on arts, or 3 hits on 2 arts cards, 3 hits on two buster cards, 4 hit quick, 5 hit extra attack. Very similar looking to OG Morgan in terms of like what the deck looks like. I'm sure it performs like it's very similar. She's not gonna have the MP gain, but she kind of like brute forces it. Even though she's a buster unit just like OG Morgan, their kits are very, very different. Very different. It was not copy paste Morgan's skills and put it on a caster. First skill, AoE charge for the party, 10% every turn. 10 stars every turn. 50% battery and 20% MP damage for 3 turns. There is a reason they made this skill the way they did. There is a reason. This is kind of gross. And I believe for people that I'm trying to think of how to phrase this, but on paper, she should be one of the hardest hitting Super Scope farmers. If I'm not mistaken, she should be one of the hardest hitting Super Scope farmers because of how much charge she has. It's not going to say it on here, mostly because it's not effective damage. Actually, no, I take that back. I think she's able to use a 50% CE and basically act like she's super scoping. If I'm thinking of the cooldowns correctly, she should actually be able to do super scope type farming on a 50%. So instead of the 100% battery, you get extra MP damage or buster up. And she's not using Double Oberon. I mean, she's not using Double Vitch Oberon and Black Grail Looping. It's probably the most flexible you're gonna get with the farm. Just start with 50% and then super Double Vitch, cooldown reduction. It's kind of less work than Kucaster, but you're gonna need these skills leveled. It's kind of less work than Kucaster and like worrying about really screwing up with him, because it is very easy to screw up your Kucaster farm. You just like go on autopilot and you just forget to pop. It's a lot harder to do it with this. Anyway, like all this stuff on the skill is why it's a 7 turn. Do I ever see them buffing the skill and making a 6 turn? There's too much shit on this skill. It's too much to put on a 6 turn. It really is. Like, she needed a 6 turn, but all this stuff is good. Second skill, we have 20% attack and then 4 conditional buffs. Depending on how it says grant party attack up. If it's like this, this is for each individual servant. They all get this conditional buff. If your attack is less than 99%, 10% attack. Less than 75, 10% attack added, and so on and so forth. Just like Neo Bride. And it's funny because Neo Bride is an AoE caster too. When you hit the condition, the buff will activate. It is not you Cheng Gong for like, and then you immediately heal back up. You're not going to keep these buffs. In addition, if the party's HP is 100%, or if the unit is at 100% HP instead of an attack up, you get stars per turn for 3 turns. The Sergeant can get really, really nutty depending on what your team comp is. If you happen to be running her with Merlin, you're probably gonna have more stars than you will ever need. No joke on that. In my original review on this, I was talking about like how like there is no synergy between Morgan and Merlin. There is actual synergy. You're not going to be able to do the normal invincible comp. And I'm even hesitant to like say to use her in an invincible comp despite what her 3rd skill is. I was sounding like a dumbass earlier today because I misread. I greatly misread how her MP and 3rd skill interact. Enough to do. The reason I said Merlin synergy is that your HP is probably going to always be topped off, and this applies to every servant. So if everyone's at full HP, you're getting 30 stars. Stack that with Merlin stuff, you're never not going to have stars. But again, that's a party thing. You have to experiment with it. 3rd skill. When she comes into the battle, this skill is already on a cooldown. 5 turns. It is so helpful that this is not scaling with your level of this 5-turn cooldown reduction. Because if you needed the skill to be maxed out to have this 5 instead of it being like 7, and at a certain point it will go down to 6, probably at rank 6, and then at lowering it will go down to 5. You would feel terrible if that was what this was. With this part, she is so heavily encouraged to be using with Coin Sky. You should not be using her with it. It is very not smart. Very not smart for you to not use Double Vitch on her. But her real strength is in multi-core farming. When you pop this skill, AoE 50% battery. If you run her with Oberon that is on the field for like multiple turns, like you have him out on the field, he's MPing the turn you pop this. Because his AoE 20, his pen 20. He got 10% from this skill. So then you give him a 50% battery and he's MPing. This is where her real strength is going to lie. You have someone else in your party that's like passively getting the little bit of gain they need, and then when it's time to nuke, you're popping 2 different Buster MPs, and you are giving them extra damage, MP 30% MP damage. And you're also giving them a guts 1 time 3 turns. This is the first buster support that is giving a guts like this. Very, very nice. Unfortunately, the cooldown on the skill is ridiculously long. He has ways to make up for it. He definitely has ways. But this is a higher skill ceiling unit, 100%. Their floor is really good. Don't get me wrong. Morgan is not some giga brain you always have to be thinking when you're using with her, just like Miss Gray. No. She's actually really simple for a buster looper. And despite not being able to double stack the skills, you have to remember what she actually will be double stacking. Because when you pop coin scales batteries, she's at least going on. If she happens to get hit, she gets even more, and then you double these skills. So at base, it's a 40%. Second you start using coin sky, it's 60%. She gives out 50% MP damage to the party. It's kind of the reason why her double Oberon damage is as good as it is. I'm not saying it's super amazing, but she's actually able to take advantage because she has so much MP damage. Passive skills, 12% arts buff. Cool, makes her arts cards better, and they are decently good. Item construction C, this is for her MP. Magic resist B, 17.5% debuff resistance, nice. Crit attack chance crit attack chance resistance by 12% increase. Very good. It makes it harder to get crit, and considering she's fighting assassins, this is like really good passive to have. It works on Castoria. Castoria does not get crit when you are bringing her to fight when you're up against assassin bosses. She's not gonna take damage. B, she's not getting crit. Not easily. Hens, I would definitely say mana loading. Specifically because you need bells to farm for her. And if you don't have Oberon, you are going to have a very, very bad time trying to farm with her. You need someone. If you have mana loading, you only need the You only need the third skill leveled and lowered. You can get away with an unleveled first skill, but you need to have the append unlocked. You need to do that. Just having this unlocked does so much for her. It really does help a lot. And then you backload this battery. By the time you need it, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be off cooldown. MP grants invincibility for 1 attack 1 turn. I guess it's cool that she has it. Damage to all enemies. Super effective damage against evil enemies. Reduces their defense base by 20% for 3 turns. And the scaling, just like Arcueid, scales with your copy. So going for MP2 is a significant jump in damage. It's not a simple jump. Yeah. She has a lot of different avenues. But the big kicker on her MP is her overcharge. She always will get a buster buff, which is nice because she does not have other another buster buff in her kit. So it multiplies with the attack buff and the MP damage. Very, very nice. And also the defense down with its more subsequent MPs if you're fighting a boss. Or just face card damage. I mean, if you don't kill and you face card, your arts cards are getting overkill quicker. So it is better refund. Reduces own third skill cooldown, activates first. When I first read this, I thought it was reduced the skill cooldown by 3+1. I wasn't mad, but I'm like, oh my god, I misread it that bad. I would have felt like shit if I put out a video that was like blatantly not true. If you are able to get to overcharge 5 multiple times, you can double pop this skill. I mean, you will have easier time trying to utilize this skill, but you're not gonna need to go overcharge 5 all the time. Probably 3 or 4 is going to be enough. And say you're running like a quasi invincible comp where Castoria, Merlin, you're running them, you're probably going to want to pop Castoria's skill before this one, because the skill cooldown is very important to making sure you have a guts when you need it. If you're running with Castoria, do you need a guts? Not really, but she doesn't. If you're fighting something like Kernanos, the guts might save your ass more times than you think. And I know you can die to you can tick out because of how that fight works, but that's more because you have debuffs that have separate activation timers more than does not work on Kernanos. It's more the mechanic of the fight than at all the dots itself. Senshin mats. She uses Lost Belt 6 mats. What did you expect? This is why I said wait, that you're gonna want the append. I am screwed. I'm screwed. Both NA and JP are gonna be farming the node together. Append. This is an ordeal call, Matt. If you're at the start of the game, I actually feel bad for having to try to get her skills up, because this is not pretty. She kinda is newer player friendly, but at the same time, she's not by her mat restrictions. Sorry. I've been up for a while. I need to rest and get ready for Lotto tomorrow. Bonsi E. And it's even better than I thought. When your HP is 50% or lower, everyone in the party gets 30% MP damage up. When it works, it works. Oh, she has completely different dialogue based on if you beat Avalon the Fae. Cool. Is Morgan a must summon? No. Is she a strong unit though? Yes. She is very strong. Don't let anyone tell you different. Just because someone can't do Double Vitch doesn't mean they're a bad servant. She's more it's more annoying that she can't do Double Oberon than anything else. It's more it being annoying. You have to do Double Oberon instead of Double Vitch and Black Grail. But again, going back to Kucaster, they were not going to fully power creep him. They just weren't. I'm truly sorry, but anyone expecting them to like have Morgan directly compete with Kucaster, sorry, not sorry, you're a little delusional, because you have to remember this is his damage at level 70. He is a 3-star. 4 grails and you get his attack up. Even more, you get him to level 100. Do you actually think a level 100 MP1 Morgan is going to be able to compete with a Kucaster like that? No. It truly, unless her damage was straight up better, in which case now we have another issue that we're keep doing more and more power creep, and older servants look worse. And this year we didn't have a GSR to even get them because they noticed that people weren't summoning on those banners. A couple people were, which is why they had the Destiny summon, but not as many. So they cut out the older servants that people weren't summoning. Make sure you try out Tonelico in that quest. Make sure you try her out. See if you actually like her. If you do not have Double Vitch, or if you do not have your own coin Skya, she probably is a skip. More likely than not, she's a skip. Are you able to get away with it with Atlas Mystic Code? Yes, but your CEs are going to be much more restricted. Much more restricted. Anyway, this is Morgan Le Fay. You might want to hold your courts because they showed off the silhouettes at the anniversary. They showed us 6 servants, and the second set of silhouettes looked to be Gwaine, Vargas, and Melisande. They have not revealed the welfare. I know I've been joking about this for months, but I actually think they're gonna give us Habitrot as a welfare again, but this one is just gonna be older. I would prefer it if they gave Habitrot more than 2 pieces of artwork for people to look at, but who actually knows? We haven't seen the full silhouette. Maybe the one I thought was Melisande might have been Habitrot. I don't know. We don't know yet. I'm lucky I have a whole lot of quartz saved up on my alt, because this is Summer of the Fairy Knights. If you're a big fan of them, I hope your wallet has enough money in it. I hope your Saint quartz are plentiful, because the big suck might be upon us. All right, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. If you enjoyed, drop a like or sub. Hope to see you in the next one. Peace.